Hey everyone, it's Bethany. Welcome back to my craft room. I have the neatest card today and I cannot wait to show you how fun and easy it is to create. We are going to be making this Flippin' awesome card. It opens and shuts, revealing a variety of fun little scenes, and it is so fun to make. I adore this. This was so fun. I can't wait to show you how fun and easy it is to create, but I wanted to film an intro with the actual card in front of me because I wanted to give you an idea of where we're actually going with this. This is a lot of little pieces, a lot of die cutting, but it all comes together so well in the end. So I wanted to give you a visual, not to spoil the card for you, but to give you an idea of what we're trying to achieve when making this card. This is so fun to make, and even better, you can create a variety of little themes with this. So of course it's December right now, so we're going to be doing a cute little Christmas card, but you could do a variety of things. You could do a birthday, Valentine's Day, you could do something fun for summer and spring. I love this idea. I think it's so fun and I cannot wait to inspire you with this card. So let's go ahead and get started. This is so cute, so fun, and I will be sure to link all of the supplies you need in order to bring this look together down in the description box below the video, just like always. All right, everyone, let's go ahead and get started creating. Be sure to give this a thumbs up if you are ready to be inspired with this sweet little card. Okay, so let's get started. I have a variety of items that I'm going to use to bring this really fun interactive card together. I also pulled a lot of alcohol markers that we're going to use as well. So I have this really fun stamp set and coordinating dies. I'll link everything that I'm using down below in the description box. And then I have this really fun die set for the Flippin' Awesome whole mechanism. And then I also have a little add-on that's just going to give us some additional little embellishments that will make this even cuter. So let's go ahead and get started. I think I'm going to start by stamping out my little images and getting them colored. So I'm going to grab some paper and my Misty, and we'll get to stamping and coloring. Because I'm going to be coloring, I'm going to pull an alcohol-friendly ink to use to stamp my images. And then I have an 80-pound piece of cardstock here, and let's just pull some of these cute stamps and see what to use. So I think I'm going to kind of arrange this way, and then we'll stamp down. So I think, oh, this is so cute. All of them are so cute. So I think I'm going to do the little Santa with the bag, and then definitely the Santa with the list. I might stamp more than I need. Whoops. And then I will just use which ones I decide on later, but I'd rather overstamp in the beginning. And then let's do the Santa. He's kind of saying, shh. I love that. I love that so much. Okay. And then we'll have a little trio of Santa, a reindeer, and Mrs. Claus. I also love the Santa with the wreath. I think I'm going to overstamp, but I'd rather have too many and then have options. Okay, put these little guys up here, here, and then a little bag. Okay, I think that is definitely enough. And then we can stamp these down and get them all colored. Okay. I think I like the placement of everything. It doesn't matter because I'm going to end up coloring them and then using the coordinating dies to cut them out. Okay, so I have my cardstock all ready to go. Let's make sure that, yep, that's good. Okay, so I'm going to use my ink to just ink up all of these beautiful stamps and get them nice and stamped down. Okay, looks good. And then I'll grab my pressure tool, just glide over, get some even pressure. Oh, definitely need to, what in the world? Definitely need to re-ink that. Oh, there we go. I always re-ink it anyway, but that needed definite help. Okay, there we go, and stamp that down. Okay, much better, but it actually still needs a third little run. There we go. I'm feeling confident that we have really good results. Yep. Okay. So here are all of our little stamped images. How cute are they? Aren't they fun? So I'm going to let this ink set, especially because I did 3 little takes of it. And I'm going to let that set for just a minute before we go ahead and continue with the coloring. While my ink is setting up, I'm going to simply go through and trim out and just take apart my little dies because I'm going to start working on constructing the actual card next, just to give my ink enough time to set up, especially since I triple stamped that. Okay, so I know I'm going to need this big one here. And then I'm also going to open this. Actually, I know I'm going to need, let's see here. I know I will need probably both of these. Actually, I think I'm just going to use the bigger of the 2. Okay, so while I was waiting for my ink to dry, I went ahead and did all my die cutting, and that actually took quite a bit, so I did that off camera. So I used an 80-pound cardstock to do the main base for my mechanism. So again, 80-pound cardstock, which I also used for these squares here, and I cut out a total of 4 using this regular square die. Then I used the stitch square die to cut out 4 additional squares of patterned paper, and I will link the patterned paper that I'm using down below. I did a stitched rectangle using this die just one time. I also did a stitched scallop border using this die here, a little pull tab, both out of this pretty pink candy cane paper. These pattern papers are in the same collection, and again, I'll link it down below. And then using a separate stitched hillside border set that I own, I went ahead and cut out some really pretty glitter paper in that nice white, and I did some little glitter hillsides, and I think these are going to be just really pretty for our snowy scene. I initially cut them out using the square stitched die and the rectangle stitched die, and then I ran them through one more time with the little border to give them a really nice little snowy, slopey theme. So I think that looks really cute. I think that should be all the pieces that I need. So now I'm going to set these pieces aside for a moment, and then we are going to do our coloring. Then we'll come back to all these pieces to get everything all put together. Okay, let's go ahead and get to the coloring. I pulled a variety of colors, and I also pulled an additional Wink of Stella, as well as I'm going to use a gel pen to add some additional pretty embellishments to my coloring. So let's go ahead and start. I'm going to use some non-traditional colors. I really love a pink look for Christmas. So I'm going to go ahead and do a pink Santa outfit. Now, when my daughter saw me coloring these, truth be told, she was telling me that is absolutely incorrect. Santa is not pink. And so, you know, I had to explain that sometimes with coloring, you get to do your own decisions and make things the way that you think are super fun. And that's what I'm going to do for this coloring. So I'm going to pull my first 2 pinks. I have R21 for my darker shade, and then I have RV260 for my lighter shade. And I will link my marker sets down below. I own 2 sets. One is a pastel collection, and then one is, I think, just their main collection. So I'm going to start with the R21, which again is my darker, and I'm going to start by doing my shading. So I'm going to add just a little bit of shading at the base of his hat here, and it comes in a little bit peach, but then it does end up settling down. I find that that's just the case with this color. And then I'm going to go through on his sleeve at the bottom, and then again at the base of his coat, and then I'll also do the same at the base of his little pant legs down here, as skinny as they are. And I'm going to try to do 2 Santas at once. I think I can get away with doing that. I'm going to go ahead and just add all of my shading to the next Santa down at the bottom of his pants there, and I think that should be good. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do my second color, which is the, let's see, I'm going to use the brush side. This is the RV260, and these are so tiny that I'm just going to add my color, but I'm not going to do too much pulling of color. There's just not a lot of room to create a mid-tone. So I'll go ahead and just kind of pull as much as I can out, but mainly just adding in that lighter shade to the remaining area. Okay, and I think that those two colors look really, really fun together. So I'm going to go ahead and do that exact same color combination on my remaining Santa pieces. I'll also probably do her dress, Mrs. Claus that is, in that nice pink as well. But let me go ahead and do that coloring, and then we'll move on to our next color combination. Okay, and I think that is good for the pinks. I'm going to set them to the side because I do want to bring back in the R21 later for the pink cheeks. So I'm going to bring that over here, and then I will just set, whoops, that's a little too big. I'll set these to the side and put them away as I go because I like to organize it that way. Once the marker is off of my surface, that means I've used it and I should be ready to move on. Okay, so now I'm going to, let's see, let's move on to the R18, and I think this pretty R18 is going to be all of our skin tones. So I'm going to use my fine tip. I don't think I'm going to worry about any shading here, but I'm just going to lightly and just go over all of the skin tone areas, all of their skin, and I'm going to add one layer. And I think that that is going to be a really pretty color. Again, this is R1H, and I think it's a really nice option. Oops, I forgot to do the pink on this little guy. But I really like this color for a skin tone. I think it's really pretty. So I'll go back in and color the rest of the pink in. Goodness. Because they're just so small, I just really am not going to stress myself about all of the shading. But I will come back and I will finish up coloring in this little cutie pie. I don't know what I was doing. You know, sometimes when there's just so much coloring, you can overlook one, but that's okay. We would have noticed it at some point. Okay, I think I have all of my skin. That looks just fine, and their little hands and boots are going to be a nice gray, so I will work on those later. Okay, now I'm going to pull the E210, and I will also pull, let's see, the E280. And what I will do here is I'm going to do the little packages. So that will be, my darker is going to be the E210. And I'm going to add just a little shading on these packages. I thought they could be just nice little brown packaged bags. I liked the little classy idea of that. I'll add a little shading on the little list, again with the little packages in this little bin here, or Santa's sack. And I'm also going to use this color to do my reindeer. So I'm going to add a little bit of shading right on his ears, right on the bottom, and then I'm going to come in right at his chin, add some shading there, and then I will come down this left side and bottom, and then left side and bottom, and I think that's going to be good for my shading. I think that's probably it for this color, and then I'll bring in my E280 for my lighter shade, fill in my little packages. It's just barely lighter, so I'm going to go really light, but it's just enough to have a little shading and a little bit of a lighter area. I think that looks really nice. I like it. Okay, and then I'm going to do my cute little reindeer. Just like this. And you can always come back in with your darker color to add more shadows and more shading. It is all personal preference. You do not need to do exactly like I do. I color in a way that is my style, but you can absolutely pick a way that you like to color. But I think that looks really, really good. I like how that looks. I may come in with my darker color one more time, just add a tad bit more shading down here, and then that should just mellow out. Maybe a little bit on the ears as well. Okay, I like that. I might add a little on my list. Again, because those two shades were just so close, sometimes it's nice to go in and just bump up the shadows. Okay, I like how that looks. Now let's go ahead and move on to our darker brown, which is just slightly darker. It's the E220. And for this, I'm going to do my cute little teddy bear. And I am just going to color this in. I'm not going to worry too much about shading. I may come back in with just one color, so this one color that I'm using. But it's just such a tiny little area that I'm just going to give him a nice caramel brown. I'm also going to use this same brown for the antlers. And one thing I really have found helpful is if you just pick a variety of colors, but then put them in each of the images. You know, don't have so many browns. Don't use 5 different browns. Just use a few and then, you know, use them for the same things. It just brings a lot of cohesiveness to everything, and everything just looks so coordinated and curated. It just looks really nice. So I will go back in. I'm going to add a little bit on the base of this tree as well, just to bring that caramel color down here. I'm going to go back in to my bear and add just a little bit of shadowing using that same marker. I'll also do the same thing on the little antlers, just adding a little bit of shadowing just to give a little bit of dimension, and then a tad bit on this bear and a tad on the base of this tree, that little tree trunk. Okay, again, that was E220, and I really, really like that color combination. Let's go ahead and move on to some grays, and I want to do Santa's beard, and I also want to do Santa's hat, and I think those are all going to be the same, but then we're going to bring in some Wink of Stella as well. So I'm going to do this CG020, and I'm going to just do a nice light coat. Now this is just barely a color, and I'm going to go really, really light here. I'm not going to do more than one coat because I want this to remain really light, but I didn't want to skip it because I didn't want it to be just white paper, right? So I like how that looks. It just gives it something. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to do his little sleeve. I'll also do his belt. I think that looks super nice. And then I'll do the same thing on all of these. Not worrying about any shading, just worrying about giving that a little bit of an off-white color. That way it's just not so stark papery white. So I'll do all of his beards in each little image, the little cuffs and the little belt area, and the little cuffs on his ankles if pictured. Some of them he doesn't have, but if pictured, we will put the little CG020 right on it. Okay, I think that's good. I did notice that I missed the bottom of Mrs. Claus's little dress. I think I'm going to come back in with this R21 just for this little scalloped bottom of her dress. Just add the color there, just like that. Okay, now what I'll do is I'm going to come through, let's do this WG3, and I'm going to use the fine tip side because this is going to be all of the boots. And again, just coloring here. There's just barely any room to do any shading. All the boots. Oops, I ran over. Oh well, that's okay. I was gonna say I went over his cuff, but that's okay. I'll just do it on both sides and that'll just be the story for this little fella. Okay, and I'm going to do mittens and boots on each little Santa. I think that's going to be really cute. So mittens, boots, and then on Rudolph here, I will do nose, even though you could do the red nose, right? I'm going to go ahead and just give him a little dark charcoal nose. And I'm going to do her little feet, her little glove, looks nice. And then continue on with gloves and boots on my remaining Santas. This little cutie I totally messed up by coloring in all of his cuffs that I had just had that nice light gray, but that'll be fine. Now I'm going to go through with my R4. This is a really pretty red that I really like, and I'm going to only use one shade of red for the red part of all of these little pieces, but I will just do all of my shading with one color. So I'm going to put my red down one layer, and I'm going to go through and do all of my little Santa sacks. I think that'll look really nice. And again, just choosing one color of red, and then anything that needs to be red, I'll just use that one marker. It really just helps to make everything so cohesive when you just keep it really simple and minimize the number of markers that you use. It just makes everything look so nice. Okay, I'll do a little red there. I'm also going to bring in some red on these little berries. So easy. Obviously a little bit of red here as well. And then I believe the ornaments on the tree would just look darling in this red as well. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is, once that settles a little bit, I'm going to come back in and do my shading. So I'm just going to do a little bit on the left and the bottom. See how just subtle that is, but it's there. And again, just using the same color marker just to add a little bit of depth to all of my coloring where needed. I'm not going to focus on my tiny little berries nor my ornaments or scarf. Those are just too small. Okay, now let's do our green. I think the G420, it's a really pretty green. I'm gonna go ahead and use that. And I think I will do her little apron green. I'm gonna go through and just color the whole thing, and then I will come back and add my shadows next. Of course, I will make this wreath green as well. And again, applying my color all over. And then I will come in with the same color and add just another layer to add a little bit of shadow in. Okay, so I have my first little layer of green down. So what I'm going to do next is go through and add my shading. So on her apron, I'm just going to do a little bit of that. And then on my wreath here, I'm just going to go around the outer edge and add my shadow there. And you know, I'm not really being mindful of light source. I'm just kind of worried about getting a little bit of depth in there, and I think it looks good, so that's what I'm going to stick with. For this little tree, I'm just going to kind of hover around the left side and then also add some color towards the base, just like that. And I think that looks good. Okay, done with the green, I believe. That looks pretty nice. And I think as for, actually, I'm going to bring that right back in really quickly because I think it would look really nice to have this package be green as well. So I'll just go ahead and add my color there. Very good. Okay. Then my yellow is Y3. I'm going to add this to my little star. It's like a nice golden yellow and I really like it. I think it coordinates well with the other colors that are within these images and I really like that. Okay, now let's go through. I like to wait until their faces are really, really dry. And I want to go back through with this R21 and I'm going to add my cheeks. So I'm just going to go, and sorry, but you're probably not going to see much with my hand there. It's kind of hard to get perfect coloring without my hand in the way. Okay, I'm just going to add my cheeks in right underneath those little eyes. Here, absolutely on my little deer as well. And Mrs. Claus, I'm going to come kind of out to the sides of her glasses, and I think that's just perfect. Okay, now let's go ahead and bring in this little jelly roll pen, and I thought it would be fun. Let me make sure it is flowing really well. I thought it would be fun to add some little dots to Santa's sack, and I think this is just going to be something that is so simple yet so effective. I just love how this looks. Maybe one there too. Okay, how cute is that? So I'll go ahead and do it for here as well, just adding some dots all over his little sack. Super cute. And then I'll do this one in a moment, but for Rudolph's little scarf, I thought we could add some little stripes. And then just like that. How sweet. I love it. And then of course our little dots right on this little sack as well. So simple, but I think it just elevates this look so much, and I really like that. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put that away, and the final thing we're going to do is we're going to come back through with this Wink of Stella, and I am going to add just a little bit of glitter to his hat and the little pom-pom, and this is so slight on camera. I'm going to do my best to hold this up in a moment, but I thought his little hat and the little pom-pom just needed to have some glitter, and I might even argue that his little belt needs it as well, or not the belt, that's not the right word, but you know, the little ruffle, the little fur on his jacket. I just think that that needs it as well. So I'm going to go through and just add some beautiful glitter. I'm also going to add it to the little collar of Mrs. Claus because I think that that is way too cute. Just about all of Santa got glittered on this one. My pen, I think, I don't think it's a normal pen. I think I installed it wrong because it's leaking everywhere, but it's just way too fun, and that's okay. Okay, just adding kind of a second layer there. This one has got a lot of glitter, but that is okay. I think that's still really cute. So you can kind of see when I hold it up, whoops, actually I don't have my autofocus on, but I can show you if I just kind of, there you go, hold it a little bit like that, you can just see the little hat. This, he is just really glittery there, but you know, he's gonna be fine. I like it. I think they are all so cute. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and grab my coordinating dies and let's get all of these cut out and let's start assembling our super, super sweet little card. Okay, zoomed out a little bit because we need a little room to work. Now, how cute are these? I think they all turned out so sweet. Okay, so now I'm going to bring in, let's see, I'm going to bring in our main piece for our mechanism here. And if you will notice, there are some score lines right here. So what we're going to do, we have obviously our cut line all the way around our perimeter here, but we have our score lines right here. And then we also have 2 additional score lines on the end. So I'm just going to fold those in. Okay. And then I'm going to take these additional score lines and I'm going to fold them both ways. Again, I used an 80-pound cardstock. I'll link all of my supplies down below, including the type of cardstock. And I'm going to, again, fold this just both ways on each score line. Just like this. And finally, one more. Okay. That way it is just super ready and flexible. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I believe it goes like this. So I had it opened like this, right? And then I think you fold it and then you start assembling this way. I think that's how that's going to work. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to bring in all of my additional little pieces. So I have my scallop piece that's going to be for later. Oh, I love how the pinks are coordinating. That actually turned out really nice. Okay, and then I have these white pieces that we're going to start with. And then I also have my little stitched pieces. So what I think I'll do is, now that I have my base ready, I'm going to assemble all my little scenes here, and then I will input them onto, or install them onto our little base later. So I'm going to match up all of my little scenes of where these are all going to go. That's the wrong one. I think I'm going to use the shorter one. And all my little snowy pieces. Now for this, I think I'm just going to use a tape runner. I think a tape runner will be absolutely fine here. So I'm going to turn my little pieces over and I am going to nestle in this little stitched square to my larger square. Okay, just like that. And I will do that for all of my little pieces here. So again, just a little tape runner on the back. You can use the adhesive of your choice, but I think that it will be just fine for this project. Let me know if you've made one of these before. I have been wanting to make one of these for the past few months, and I saved it for Christmas just because I knew I'd have a lot of fun stamp sets that I wanted to use to bring some Christmas cards together. Plus I think this will just be a really fun, Christmas card to bring out and to give. Okay, there we go. I got a little bit more. I'm gonna bring my adhesive eraser in. I did that a little backwards by adding the adhesive to my base and not the back. But let's see if we can get some of that off. And not too bad. Okay, looks a little bit better. Okay, so now what we'll do is I'm going to add my little snowy scenes. Oh, aren't those cute? I think that's so fun. So I'm going to add my adhesive right to the back and then just place those right on there. Isn't that pretty? So now we have, well, not including this one. This one we will install later, but now we have 4 little snowy scenes that we can play around with and build all of our little characters onto. So there we go. I love these little stitched hillsides. They are so fun. I used them recently when I did a snowy shaker card, and that was so fun. I'll link that for you if you'd like to see that. Okay, so there are our little scenes. Whew, I'm getting a little bit more confident now that I'm seeing pieces glued together. That was a lot of little die cuts all at once. Okay, so now what I think I'll do is I'm going to save this trio for my last one here. I think that will be great. And then what I will do here is just kind of mix and match where I want everything to go. So I think what I'll do is I will just start kind of placing my little Santas where I'd like them. And you know what? They're just going to be super simple. They are just going to be super simple. Now, I want to do the list Santa so much, but I kind of messed up on him. And I think I'll bring this little pop of red into this scene just to add a little bit more. I think that'll be really fun. So now I'm just going to take my tape runner, add it to the back. Try not to glue it to my mat. Okay. And then I'm going to just make them super fun on these little pieces here. Okay, so let's see, where do we want each one to go? I think like that. Super cute. And then I'll tape down the last two. Okay, so let's go ahead and just assemble this as well. That way we have all of our pieces kind of minimized. Is anybody else breathing a little bit better now that we're seeing a lot of this come together, or is it just me? I'm definitely breathing a little bit better now. Okay, sometimes when you have so many die cuts, it's just a tad overwhelming because you want to make sure you don't misplace anything. Of course, you can always recut, right? It's totally fine, not the end of the world, but it's nice to see everything get placed in their home. And whoops, put this little guy right on the hill here. Okay, that is so darn cute. All right, so now we are going to start assembling our cute little mechanism here. Now, Bethany, make sure you do this correctly. I'm a little nervous, but we'll get it done. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start adding a little bit of tape runner to these individual areas here, okay? So these are going to be sized perfectly just to fit right here. So what I will do is I need to make sure I know which order I want. And I kind of think that I want this little Santa who's kind of shushing. I think I want him to be first. I think that's just way too cute. So I will have them, I think, in that order. So I'm going to build from the last page up, if you will, for this part. So is that correct? I think so. So I'm going to add just a little bit of tape runner to the left side here, just like that. Okay. And I'm going to match that up and lay it down. Okay. And then this little one, just add the little tape runner here. And place. So then you'll see each scene is kind of peeking out from one another. Add some tape runner. Okay. And place. And then our final piece, which in this case is going to be our top page of this little flippy flappy, if you will. It's going to be here. Or it's called Flippin' Awesome. Isn't that cute? I love that. Okay, now this page is going to be in here. Is that correct? That should be correct. Just like this. So now, because I just did that inside piece, it just kind of has a little border around it, which is the outside, or which is our base. Okay, so this is going to be the last little piece. Okay, just like this. Okay, now in order to assemble this, we're going to bring in this piece and place it on here. Now, what I am thinking is I'm going to grab my sticky thumb tape runner because this is mighty, mighty sticky. In fact, actually, you know what I can do is use this red line tape. In fact, I've been wanting to use this, and it says that it's super, let's see. I grabbed it and it says that it is ultra strong. So let's go ahead and give this a try. Okay, so I have my little scene builder here, right? I'm going to do two little, let me find the end of it, two little pieces on each side just to make it super, super strong. I'm going to grab my non-stick scissors. Okay. So we'll add one and there we go. Two. Okay, and then I'll add another two to this little flap here. Okay. Okay, one and two. Okay, now let's peel those off. I'm wondering if I can just use my tweezers to get the lining. Looks like I can. Okay, just peeling the lining off of that to reveal the double side adhesive. Okay, so all of my adhesive has been taken off. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just fold these back, and this is what's going to attach this whole system to our base. So I'm going to line it up where I'd like it, just like, oh, let's bring it in here a little bit, just like that, and press it down. Okay, and then, okay, then we should be able to open and flip our little scene. Is that adorable or what? How cute is this? Oops, I got it. If I put my hands down here, that way my fingers are not in the way. Oop, I think I need to tape down one little, see how this is getting a little stuck? I'm gonna have to just put a little glue there so that there's no lip. But how cute is that? And you can see the little glitter sparkle. Let me add some tape runner just so that we don't have any lip there. I used this the other day, this ultra tacky glue. It is so sticky. And I know if I use this that it'll really go down. Okay, that is going to work because this glue is amazing. And it is ultra sticky. So I'm going to put that under those little feet, put a little block on it, let that sit, and then that should work just fine. Okay, while that is setting up, let's go ahead and assemble our card base. And what I have here is a piece of 110-pound cardstock, and I am going to score this at 4 1/4 because I have it at, let's see, 8.5 by 5.5. And so if we do 4 1/4, then we will have a nice little card here. I have to think it through because I don't do this orientation much, but I think that's correct. Okay, and then we have our little standard A2 size card, and okay, I have a little scrap piece of cardstock here, and I'm gonna grab my little sentiments here because I think, let's see here. There we go. Okay, so this is going to go on our card just like so, but we have a little bit of space down at the bottom to have a sentiment. So I think it would be cute to say, well, we might only have room for from all of us. Well, let's try this. Have yourself a merry little Christmas. I don't think there's enough room. So I think I'm going to do from all of us. And I think that will be so cute. Yep, I think I'll do that. I think that'll be really nice. Now, unless I want to just place a sentiment right on my card base, and that would be cute too. I could do that, and I could bring this up a little bit, just like so. And then you'd have enough room just to say, have yourself a merry little Christmas. I like that. I'm going to do that. I was originally going to do a little banner die and die cut that out, but I think it'll be really pretty just on the card base there. So let's do that. And let's just practice over, well, let's see. I'm going to need this. Let's bring this in. Bring my little card base in. Let's get it where we'd like it. And center it. Bring this in to make sure we have enough room everywhere. I think that looks good. So I want to make sure that's nice and straight, which I think it is. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and close that. And let's stamp that down. Just going to use that Memento ink that I used earlier. And just place it right on the card base. Go. And I'm going to re-stamp just to make sure it's really, really nice and bold. Making sure my alignment is still good so that it stamps in the exact spot. Okay. Press down. Perfect. Okay. Oh, that looks so cute. Okay, now let's just place our whole card together. Let's get it all put together. It's about time, right? So the first thing we're going to want to do is put this little pull tab right on here. And I think we're going to need to pull this out a little bit. I might need to trim it just a little bit because it seems a little big. Actually, no, that will work just fine. Let me put a little bit of glue on the back. It kind of overhangs just a little bit, but that's okay. Put a little bit of that tape runner on there. And this is nice because I like the arrow. It kind of gives a hint that there's going to be an interaction, so the person you give this to kind of knows what to do, right? Okay, now I'm going to grab some foam tape just to help build this up a little bit. And also, I heard that if you put foam tape on it, then it allows this to sit up a little bit more so that your finger can go and grab onto this little arrow here and begin the pull, right? So I'm going to grab foam tape for the back of this and we'll pop it right on up and we are just about done. Okay. I'll do a few strips of my foam tape here. A little bit longer of a video, a little bit more in depth of a card build. But you know, this obviously isn't something you would want to make for your entire Christmas card list or your every coworker you have, right? You're gonna make maybe one or two of these this season. But it's so fun. And can you imagine when that certain someone receives this card? It's just magical. It's so fun. I'm running at the end here. Running at the end of this little strip. Okay. There we go. I think that'll be really nice. Okay. And I mismeasured that first one, so I added just a little bit more. No problem. But let's get this laid down really nice. Okay. Right here. Oh, I like it. It's so cute. Ah, how fun is this? Okay, so then because we built that up a little bit, we have a little bit more room for our finger to go under and pinch and grab. So there we go. Okay, so there we go. How cute is this? I love it so much. I think it is just so magical. And then all of that little wink of Stella all over. I just think it's so fun. The glittering snow is so fun. So cute. Now, this little Santa that I set off to the side, let me grab, would be so cute placed inside, right? So you could place him just right inside your little card, then have your little sentiment. In fact, why don't I just do that? Because yes, I messed up on the coloring, but you know what? I don't know that anyone else but myself and all of you who watch this will notice as much as I will, and I think it'd be cute to just tuck him inside. And I can't wait to make more of these. You could do this for any season, just change up your pattern paper and the stamp sets that you'd like. But I think these are just so fun. I hope you enjoyed watching this. Please be sure to give this a thumbs up if you did. I really enjoyed creating this for you, and I hope you give this a try. All right, everyone, be sure to subscribe for more videos. We have so many fun things coming up for this Christmas season, and I cannot wait to inspire you even more. I will see you all in the next video.